In a small, impoverished slum at the edge of a dense forest, there lived a large monkey named Lila. Lila wandered the streets, known among the residents for her agile movements and curious nature. One fateful night, after a long day of foraging, Lila stumbled upon a tiny bundle nestled among the leaves near the forest's edge. She approached cautiously, her heart racing with a mix of curiosity and caution. As Lila edged closer, her curiosity turned to shock. She saw a newborn human baby, swaddled in a dirty blanket and abandoned, vulnerable and innocent. The baby's cries pierced the stillness of the night, and Lila's heart swelled with an emotion she had never experienced before. The instinct to nurture surged within her. In a moment of profound compassion, she scooped up the baby gently, cradling it carefully in her strong yet tender arms. The residents of the slum were awakened by the commotion and rushed outside, drawn by the sound of the baby's cries and the sight of Lila. They gasped in disbelief at the sight before them, an apparent miracle and an inexplicable aberration. How could a monkey be taking care of a human child? Lila, oblivious to the whispers and gasps from the crowd, held the baby close as it quieted down, lulled by the warmth of her embrace. The people gathered, unsure of what to do. They observed with a mix of awe and uncertainty, hesitating to intervene. Here was a sight they had never imagined witnessing: a monkey behaving as a mother. Lila continued to care for the baby, nursing it from her own breast. Her maternal instincts kicked in with fervor. Each day, she would wander about the slum with the little one cradled securely in her arms. At first, people were cautious, lingering in the background, but their curiosity quickly transformed into fascination. As days turned into weeks, the slum began to buzz with stories about the little miracle. Residents started bringing food for Lila: fruits, vegetables, and the occasional treat from the market. Wondrously, each time someone tossed food her way, she would eat half and offer the remainder to the baby. They witnessed Lila's astounding dedication. She seemed determined to fulfill not just the physical needs of the baby but also to nurture it emotionally. The baby, named Amina by the slum's children who quickly claimed her as one of their own, began to grow. Instead of learning to call for a human mother, Amina would utter ban, mimicking the sounds of Lila as if acknowledging her as a parent. Lila listened, witnessing the bond between them flourish, a connection that transcended the natural order of things. As the seasons changed, the community's initial amazement turned into bittersweet sorrow. Lila appeared tired. The demands of motherhood were wearing on her. She whisked Amina away from the slum at night to soothe her, often retreating to the safety of the trees, where they could hide away from prying eyes. Although the slum was beginning to embrace them, the uncertainty of their situation weighed heavily. One evening, after a long day of scavenging, Lila noticed that Amina was getting ill. The baby's usual giggles turned into soft whimpers, and panic surged through Lila. The mother monkey's heart ached. She didn't know how to care for a sick child. Desperately, she looked for help but found none. The villagers noticed Amina's declining health as the days went by. Whispers filled the air. People wanted to intervene but didn't know how. There was hesitation. How could they separate the baby from her unconventional mother? The tears in Lila's eyes reflected a profound understanding of a battle she was unprepared for. An elderly woman in the slum finally gathered enough courage to step forward. She had observed the powerful bond between Lila and Amina and knew they belonged together. Late one night, she ventured into the forest, calling softly, hoping Lila would recognize her kindness. When she found them, she sat quietly beside the monkey, murmuring gentle words to soothe her. Lila looked at the woman cautiously, yet truly confused. The woman reached out slowly, offering a piece of fruit. Lila, still protective of Amina, hesitated but eventually took the fruit, understanding the compassion in the woman's heart. She finally realized she could not act alone. She needed allies. As the community began building a connection with the pair, they prepared to help. The woman came to visit Lila every day, bringing nourishing food and medicines. Slowly, Amina began to regain her strength under the combined care of Lila and the villagers. The people started forming a routine, allowing them to observe Lila as a mother and offer assistance to foster the baby's growth. Yet, lurking beneath the joy, an unsettling tension remained. The villagers debated. Could they allow this unconventional relationship to continue? Some believed they should take Amina away for her own sake, while others felt it would shatter Lila's heart. Every day revolved around discussions of the two lives entwined. Then one day, the government officials arrived, drawn by tales of Amina and Lila. They were astonished at the scene before them, a monkey tending to a human baby. The officials hovered, forming theories about this bizarre occurrence. Having seen many hardships in their line of work, they keenly understood the implications of Amina's existence. A committee was set up, and a discussion commenced about the child's welfare. While this situation is enchanting, one official said, it's vital that we ensure Amina's future. She needs proper care. The conversations raged on, but the emotions ran deep. The community felt the weight of the absurdity pressing down on their spirits. Seeing the distress among the villagers and Lila's anguish, an elderly man stepped forward. How can we take away a child's true mother? If Lila provides love and safety, we must respect that bond, he implored. What are we without love? The miracle in front of us must not be dismissed. After much deliberation, it was agreed that Lila and Amina could continue living together, at least for the time being. Yet the officials would monitor the situation. The tension eased slightly, but the fear of separation remained palpable. As the weeks rolled on, the bond between Lila and Amina blossomed further. The people gathered often, laughing, playing, and celebrating the strange yet beautiful family dynamic. Amina began to walk and explore, always returning to Lila for reassurance and comfort. The slum community formed a protective circle around the two, committing to providing whatever they could for this extraordinary pair. Despite the happiness, deep down Lila sensed her strength waning. Each passing day seemed to drain the energy from her, but she would not let her child notice. Instead, she remained fiercely protective, her eyes scanning the surroundings for danger, ensuring Amina was safe from the world. One fateful afternoon, however, as Amina played with other slum children, Lila's worst fears materialized. She noticed a gathering of strangers at the edge of the community, men in uniforms filled with intent. Immediately sensing danger, Lila climbed the nearest tree, cradling Amina against her chest while observing the scene below with anxiety. Seeing the men's approach, the villagers panicked. They knew the officials were there to discuss Amina's future, but they also understood that Lila would do whatever it took to protect her child. The atmosphere thickened with tension as the tension escalated. Shouting erupted, and Lila clung to Amina tightly, prepared to defend against anyone approaching. "Leave her alone. She's with her family," yelled one of the villagers. But as villagers attempted to shield Lila, someone slipped through the crowd and reached out toward Amina, trying to persuade the baby back towards the officials. In a flash, Lila leapt down, furiously protecting Amina. The villagers gasped, unsure if they would incite the monkey's rage. Yet Lila's heart was filled with resolve, her instincts sharper than ever. Instead of attacking, she pulled Amina protectively away and retreated into the fringe of trees, away from prying eyes. The men from the government, realizing the gravity of the situation, stepped back. Underlying warnings radiated from the villagers, sharing their support for Lila. The officials had to consider their approach carefully. They didn't want to provoke the emotions of the community any further. They stood back, exchanging glances filled with uncertainty. Time passed slowly. Lila remained hidden among the trees, refusing to show her face despite Amina's whimpers of confusion and fear. The villagers whispered among themselves, urging the officials to reconsider their initial intentions. "We are not just a community. We are a family," one woman declared, her heart heavy with emotion. "If we shatter this bond, we shatter hope." One official finally took a step forward, recognizing the importance of compassion. "Maybe we should consider a different approach," he suggested. "Instead of separating the child from its mother, let's find a way to integrate them into a supportive environment, a way for Lila to remain a part of this child's life. In that pivotal moment, emotions shifted within the crowd. They began supporting the idea of a shared future, the villagers pledging to care for both Amina and Lila together. After persuasive discussions and agreements, a collective decision was made to create options that would allow the monkey and the child to remain united. As Lila cautiously emerged, carrying Amina close, Lila's expression mirrored the fears and aspirations held by the villagers, desperate to keep their new family intact. And so, an agreement was struck. Lila would still live among the villagers, and they would build a protective barrier around the slum, ensuring the child would never again have to face the threat of separation. Life went on. The small community built stronger bonds, fostering both Amina and Lila under the sunlit sky. The villagers repaired their homes and created additional spaces, always leaving a spot for Lila to adjust. A collaboration of caretakers emerged, determined to ensure that Amina received the guidance she needed while allowing Lila to retain her close presence. As months stretched into years, the bond between Lila and Amina continued to grow. New children were born into the slum, and they soon learned about the magical tale of the monkey and the child. They played games in the field while in the trees. Lila kept a watchful eye, ensuring that Amina and her new friend stayed safe. Amina thrived, celebrated among the villagers as a symbol of love's triumph. In the evenings, they would gather around the fires, sharing stories of Lila's courageous nurturing. The lessons learned from this extraordinary bond became ingrained in the very soul of the community. Love is not determined by blood but by the strength of one's heart. As time faded into the sunsets of life, Amina grew into a vibrant young girl, known for her laughter and kindness. Even as Amina began exploring opportunities beyond the slum, she always returned home, where Lila awaited her with open arms. Every reunion was marked by joyous celebration, reaffirming the unbreakable connection they shared. Eventually, Amina was offered a chance for education outside the village, and though it marked a pivotal change, she held her promise deep within. Learning from Lila, she understood the importance of compassion and how love could create families where none seemed possible. Each visit home brought laughter, stories, and a renewed commitment to nurture the extraordinary bond that had begun so long ago. Years danced by, and in a heart-stirring moment, Amina stood before a gathering, sharing through her own words the lessons imparted by her unique upbringing. With Lila by her side, she spoke passionately about the bonds of affection that sustain us. The slum transformed into a place of hope, holding stories of triumph threaded together by love beyond measure. Ultimately, Amina surpassed expectations and became a beacon of light in her community, endlessly devoted to sharing the moral of a unique journey, that in a world filled with uncertainty, what defines us is not the form we take, but our capacity to love fiercely and care profoundly for one another. The slum became a symbol of unity, the synergy of humanity with nature. Lila, an honorary mother, became legend. Together, they changed the fabric of their world, and generations to come recounted the tale of an extraordinary bond that blossomed in the unlikeliest of circumstances. And so, this tale of a monkey and the child was celebrated for its simplicity and complexity, echoing through the hearts of all who dared to believe in the profound capabilities of love, teaching that love defies nature's expectations, that every connection bears the power to heal, nurture, and transform, leaving a lasting legacy of compassion for those who follow.